Right then guys, so we're getting nearer and nearer to clear water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through the chod section. Now this is pretty much what I'm going to be fishing down there, but I'm not sure about this. This rig probably won't be used, but I'm not sure. It's pretty sharp, which is just my version of the Ronnie. So that's just a size 6 Raptor, and then just tied the normal Ronnie, but with a split shot on. So, but I do use an 18mm pop up and cut it down so it sinks really nice and slow. I want it to sink nice and slow. So now a lot of people, when they very first start tying these, they start getting their panicky about the hinge point. You see, you're playing a fish pretty much off this. Now all I do at this end is I actually tie that on. It's tied onto a leg clip. There's no reason why, don't mess about splicing. I mean, it's pointless. What there's no use. So just tie it on at that end, and then we put a 3-ounce lead on, but we cut. Well, I cut the big eye swivel. I cut off for a simple reason of I like that to pull into that like that. So now that sits like that, and then on the next section is I formed a splice in the top of it there. Now I can't do the splice for you because I ordered 3 baiting needles and they sent me these. They said they were out of the others. They sent me them. They are absolutely shite. Thinking angler you call them. I'll never order anything off them again. Absolute shit. So all we've got then, we've got a length. If you are going to fish like core leaders, there is no reason why. Just if you can get them, and you can, and they're pretty cheap, then buy them ready done. There's no it don't make it a worse angler because you're buying leaders that are ready tied. If anything, you may as well sometimes, you know what I mean. So I've just formed a splice in that, which is it's what I call, there's probably about 4 foot of lead core there. So then onto that then, which with these buffer beads, it's one large section that goes over the quick link, buffed up to lead, lovely and neat. And then the next step is for the rig. The rig goes on. Now you're going to need a big eye swivel for this. I don't know if you can see. So you want the ones, I prefer the ones which is a swivel with a separate little big eye swivel on as well. I don't like the ones that I sometimes use with just what's just got a big eye swivel at this end. So it's got a small like that and then a big one at that one. I much prefer that extra little, well, big ring there. And then that goes on next. Now that's how it sits at the minute. That's how it's going to sit. And when you're playing a fish, you're going to be playing it it's going to, this is what I mean about it on there as well, is the water it's very, the water's weedy. That's a 45 pound ESP quarter braid. So that's going nowhere. That's going absolutely nowhere. So what I will do with this lead is, where the quick link is I will tie the lead on with £2 line. Go through a few times, £2 line, and just a knot, an ordinary knot. As long as it holds on for the cast and it's pretty secure, then it'll do. And then the minute the fish picks the rig up and this starts happening, once if it goes in any weed whatsoever and this gets caught, it will break away straight away. And then you're just playing the fish off that pretty much. So that's that bit, guys. So then the next bit is we want an anti-tangle sleeve. Now I do like Coda's anti-tangle ones, so we're going to cut the tip off. Now you can still use the other bit for those that think, what you can do with other, there's loads of things you can do with that other bit, and I use them a lot in other parts of fishing, never for anti-tangle purposes, because the rigs I use just don't tangle. Quite simple with that. So what we do now is we come through the anti-tangle sleeve. I'm going to have to use one of these crap things. So now we come through the anti-tangle sleeve through the actual finner end first. So if you got that, through the finner end first, and then just pull it up your baiting needle. So you've ended up with that. Right, then onto your loop, and then pull your gate over, and then pull the end of the anti-tangle sleeve down onto your leg core. So you've ended up with that. There's no ways of doing leg core that's come out since this, but this I've been using this way of doing this now for over probably 10 years, longer, probably 12 years. It's so the next thing now is what you want to be doing is you want to be just teasing that down. I always fish it so it's roughly halfway down your sectional leg core. And then the next thing you want to be doing is you want the big eye, the big hole on the bead. You want to go in through the finner section. There's always a big hole to it and a small it tapers. It's a tapered hole. So going through the small end, coming out. So the big end, the big holes at this end, smaller ends up towards the bit you hold. And then same again, gate over onto your leg core. Right, and then you just pull it down. Wet the end of your anti-tangle sleeve. So just wet that, and then it cushions onto it beautifully, and I mean absolutely, it's as though they were designed for it. Now that gives you this. You can actually pick the lead up with it. Now that's needed. It's definitely needed, because if you're fishing with it, say you're fishing with it like at that on the lake bed, bring it further down so you can see better. So you're fishing with it like that on the lake bed. So what we're saying is, I'd have to pause that then for a second because something had just slipped. But so I would always have a small piece of a rig putty as well in the middle of this, just to weight that down, because you want that to come in. But the thing I was saying is, so your lead's going into the water on the bottom of the pit. Now if a carp picks this up and it picks it up and it runs up to, you've got to fish like lines with these guys. It's no good fishing a leg core leader on a tight line unless you are bite leaded, and you're not going to be able to fish it bite leaded on here. So what we're saying is if a carp, imagine this is the bottom of the lake, it's at an angle, but imagine it's the bottom of the lake. So if a carp picks this up and it moves towards the rod rather than the lead, you need something here that's going to give that pressure to hook. If the bead's too loose, there's no pivot point. It can check its head and it can, believe me, it'll get away with it. Whereas if it picks this up and it moves towards the lead, imagine this as its mouth, moving towards the lead, bang, straight away, it's nailed, absolutely nailed, because of that. But on the other hand, is if the actual fish becomes snagged and it's you're stuck, you can't get the fish out, then all the fish has got to do is it moves up the leg core leader. It moves up the leg core leader, that goes free and easily over the anti-tangle sleeve, up past the beads come off the end of the anti-tangle sleeve, it comes up to the end of the leg core. The leg core slides freely off end of there, and the fish is only left with this in its mouth. And it's all about fish safety with this, so you've got to make sure you do that. But without a doubt, that is the best way that I found of fishing leg core leaders. So I hope you learned something there, guys, because I did. Don't ever buy them red bait needles again, they're crap. So the other thing as well, what I will mention while I'm actually at this point, to be honest with you, is I fish helicopter rigs no matter what. Most of the time, if I'm fishing silt, most ponds have got a silt bottom, a clay bottom, or a weedy weedy. Now, if I'm fishing a gravel spot, but there's weed also present in pit, then I will still fish an helicopter setup, but I will just pull both beads down so they're tight to each other, and then you're still fishing a really effective rig. I tend to favour helicopter rig over any other rig. I really do. I really do enjoy using helicopter systems. So there you go, guys. I can't tie now, Steve, because Gators broke on me on basting needle, so I'm gonna have to do some when I'm there, pal. So it looks like naked shots for a while for you while we're there. Right, see you later, guys.